Hey, I'm here with my good friend, Chef Matt King from Smith & Wollensky, VP of Culinary. We are with our other good friend, Sean Clarke, with Clarke Wolf Sub-Zero Test Kitchen here in Boston. And we are preparing some great recipes for our guests and friends at home to prepare during this crazy time. Chef, what are we doing today?
So today we're going to work on one of the easiest steaks to cook at home, which is a filet mignon.
Oh, everybody's favorite.
It's a crowd pleaser. It's easy to cook at home. So what we're going to do for our little twist on it is we're going to make the Smith & Wollensky Cajun rub and a little bit of Cajun oil to drizzle over the top of it. So to get this started, what I'm going to do is first season these beautiful filet mignons with some salt and pepper and get them started cooking.
Now these look like center cut fillets, like very high quality.
These are a beautiful center cut or barrel cut filet, as people would call it.
Oh, nice.
Comes from our friends at Double R Ranch and Snake River Farms.
Very
up
nice.
in the Pacific Northwest.
And we're going to help folks be able to order this at home, yeah?
We are. We're working with our friends at Double R to set up a link on our website so that you can place your orders for your Smith & Wollensky style steaks delivered to your house.
Excellent. And we typically do a ribeye at Smith & Wollensky with our Cajun rub, but we're doing filet today.
We do. We offer both, but when you do the ribeye, you really want to marinate it.
Right.
Because, with all the marbling and all the fat that's in there, you want to let that sit overnight. And it's a little hard sometimes to cook that inside. Mm-hmm. There's so much fat, there's so much marbling. When I throw that on this grill, that is going to smoke like crazy.
Got it.
As that fat drips in there. So a filet is a little bit more approachable for the home cook versus a ribeye.
And can we talk about this grill from our friends at Clarke? This is a Wolf extravaganza. I don't even know what to call this.
This is like a dream kitchen. I've got this. I've got 4 burners. I've got this amazing searing plate here, this griddle, and then I've got this grill in the middle. Right. So I don't even have to go out and brave the. Nobody can see, but it is pouring rain in Boston today. So if I was going to go cook this outside, I would need an umbrella, waterproof boots, and something to anchor me down because it looks like there's a hurricane coming. Mm-hmm. The wind is blowing so hard. So this way, I can do it in the comfort of my own house.
It smells like a barbecue in here.
It does. The fat's dripping in there. You get that same effect of like if I was outside cooking.
So, Chef, for those of us behind the camera, that is definitely the ultimate Wolf product that we sell because it's got everything in one place. But for those folks that don't have an indoor grill, what would sort of be the next best way to prepare this on a rainy day?
Right, so on a rainy day, next best thing I would say would be a cast iron pan, right? Go and buy a Lodge cast iron skillet, stick it on that burner, go on medium heat, let it sit there for like 30 minutes and let the pan get good and hot, because the whole thing with this is you need to be able to maintain the heat, right? You don't want to put it in and then have the heat all dissipate, right? So if you go with like a thin bottomed pan, you're going to put a cold steak in there, and then it's going to get cold. You're not going to get that char. You're not going to get what they call technically Maillard reaction, which is when you caramelize all the proteins in the meat and you get that great flavor from a grill.
Google that, Maillard reaction.
Google
wow.
Maillard reaction. When you're sitting at home with nothing to do, say, hey Alexa, what is Maillard reaction?
No, everybody at home's Alexa just went crazy.
Everybody's Alexa just went nuts. So while this is cooking, what I'm going to do is we're going to make a little bit of Cajun oil. So I have about 1 quart of oil in this pot over here. We're going to slice up some onions.
He's showing off.
I was just going to say he's showing off.
Totally showing off.
No, there's no showing off. Maybe a little. Right, we're going to put the onions in there. Let them start cooking now. Then we're going to mix up our Cajun rub, which is really, really easy to do, right? We're going to start with white pepper. We're going to do a tablespoon of white pepper. Cayenne pepper. Tablespoon of cayenne. Chili powder. Tablespoon. You notice a theme? Black pepper. How much do you think?
About a tablespoon.
About a tablespoon, yep.
And everybody's got this stuff at home.
This is all stuff that's sitting in your cabinet at home.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's nothing out of the ordinary here.
Why white pepper?
White. So we've got white and black. The white pepper is really, really fine and kind of mixes through the whole spice medley. And white pepper is actually spicier than black pepper. White pepper is actually the inside of the peppercorn.
Ah.
All right. Then we've got garlic powder. I'm gonna mess with you a little bit. This is a half.
Okay. Turn this off a little.
Throwing you off a little bit. A little bit of ground cumin, a half. Dried thyme, a half. Dried basil, a half. And kosher salt, a half.
And the dried herbs, that's totally fine. We don't need fresh herbs for this, right?
Not for this. And you know, this is one of those things that I would recommend. Make it and just keep a batch of it sitting in your cabinet at home.
Like
right?
a whole damn jar of Cajun
Yeah, just
spice.
like take it, stick it in a little mason jar and just have it, you know?
Everybody should.
It's going to last for months sitting in your cabinet. It's not going to go bad.
Ooh. I noticed you didn't touch those steaks for quite a while.
No, don't mess with them. You know, let them do their thing. Let them do their thing. Let them sit there, be happy. Let them cook slowly. Right? We're going to bring this up to a boil with the onions. And we're going to add Cajun spice to it.
So this isn't what you would normally do with the marinade, but this is how you're going to get that flavor intensified.
This is not even really a marinade. What we're going to do with this is we're going to actually use this almost like a sauce over the top of the steaks. So we're going to cook that Cajun spice right in there. And we're going to have this Cajun oil. And then the same thing, you can save this Cajun oil and you can cook with it. You can use it as, you know, if you're making like a jambalaya at home, you know, start by cooking your onions and stuff in the Cajun oil versus a straight olive oil.
Got it. So it's almost a Cajun infused oil.
Exactly.
That's an amazing grill. I'd like one of those.
I wouldn't mind one of those. This is pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to be able to do this inside the house. You know, and get that kind of char on a steak inside a house is amazing. Alright, so we're letting that Cajun oil cook. Now another kind of fun variation to this, if you want, you can take like a little bit of crumbled blue cheese and you can melt the blue cheese on top of the filet and then you have your Cajun oil. It's kind of ridiculous.
That's nice. And Chef, we can do this with other steaks?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, something like a ribeye with that much fat, I would say you want to marinate it. With that much marbling in there, you really want to marinate it. But like a sirloin, New York strip, absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. Really comes down to whatever your preference is. Today I just decided to go with filet.
You're in a filet kind of mood.
I'm just feeling it. So we bring this up to a boil. We're going to turn it down because we don't want to burn the oil. And we're going to let the onions just sort of cook in there.
Smells amazing.
And again, this is one of those things. Make it ahead, cool it down, and have some Cajun oil. Strain out the onions and just have some Cajun oil in the cupboard. Okay, we are back with our Cajun fillets, and what we're going to do, let's talk a little bit about resting meat, right? So we seasoned these with salt and pepper, we cooked them on this grill, and then we're letting them rest, right? So in this process, what we're going to do is while they're resting, that's when we're going to apply the Cajun rub to it.
Got it.
So we seasoned them initially just with salt and pepper.
And we rest because what?
We rest because what we want to do is we want to allow the juices to redistribute throughout the meat.
So the juice internally inside the muscle.
Exactly. So what happens is like when you go to cook it, it gets super tight, right? You think about applying heat to a muscle and it kind of tightens up like this real quick.
Right.
It pulls everything towards the middle. And then when it comes back down to room temperature, it relaxes again. Right. So all those juices make their way back out to the edges of the meat. Right. So what we do here is
this is the same rub that we used earlier.
This is the same rub that we used. Yep. This is the rub that we made earlier. So we're just going to kind of really season those well, roll them all around in it while they're resting, get the whole steak covered.
right? Again, you do any steak you like, whatever you choose. I was just feeling filet today.
And when we pre-grilled these, you brought them up to what, like a rare?
I brought them up to like a rare. You want to kind of bring them almost like one temperature below where you want to eat it.
Got it.
And then you're going to throw them back on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to heat the steak back up.
Yeah.
And it's going to go ahead and blacken that Cajun spice.
And we could do this. We could do this in a cast iron skillet. We can do it outside on the grill.
Absolutely.
Any of that.
Any of the above will work.
Okay.
All right, so we're just going to let them go for a minute or two, just blacken that. We'll turn them around a couple of times. You know, we're not going for grill marks here.
Right.
We're going for that kind of overall char. Mm-hmm. You know, if you could smell this through the video, you can smell those spices starting to kind of burn.
Right. You're
know?
toasting all that stuff.
Exactly.
Got it. Oh, it smells so good. And we're bringing that probably. How do you eat your filet?
Me, I like it rare to medium rare.
Yeah.
You know, it's a less marbled steak, so I eat it a little bit less cooked.
Right.
Right. If I was going with something like a ribeye, I like a medium rare, almost pushing towards medium a little bit because I want that fat to start to render that's inside there. Mm-hmm. Where with a filet, I don't have that.
Filet's so lean.
It's so lean. So you know the moisture that you're getting is really from the water content of the meat. So the more you cook it, the more you're cooking out that water content, the drier it's going to become.
And you're intensifying the flavor at the same time.
Exactly.
Right. Oh, those look great.
Which is why you typically wouldn't dry age a tenderloin. You know, like we dry age a lot of our steaks. It doesn't have enough fat content to create that moisture when you take water out.
That's why I think fillets are best with these sort of what I'd call a treatment or an accompaniment or a sauce because they're not as flavorful. They're super tender and nice to eat, but this added sort of boost of flavor works well with a fillet.
Yeah, filet is almost like begging for you to add something to it.
To me.
You know, give me a sauce, give me a garnish, give me something with it, not just
100%.
a steak. Where like a ribeye is such an amazing piece of meat on its own. It's just saying, just season me with salt and pepper and don't complicate things.
Exactly. Okay, those smell great.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these off. I'm going to slice one of these up.
Well, that's the epitome of butter. That's like butter. It just, you can't even hear that.
No, there's no resistance there. There's nothing. It's just a nice medium rare filet. We're going to take some of this oil.
There's our Cajun oil, right?
Yeah, we're going to go right over the top with that. And there you have your Cajun filet.